Greetings and God bless. I just wanted to talk about this neo misogyny, this neo patriarchy that I have been noticing. And I would say the past 10, 15 years, there's been like women will be misogynist, they will be patriarchal to other women. Margaret Thatcher was known to be like women's worst enemy. She was very sexist, misogynist. She was the only women, the woman in affect, because I believe she was male to female transsexual, just like every major player on this theater. They are doing cross dressing, or they're in this cult, this Babylonian cult of taking on the affect of the opposite gender. But um, like there's this weird naivete in some levels of feminism and the alphabet agenda and the critical race theory. There's this naivete um, that these kind of um, isms or phobias are never perpetuated by the actual interest group at heart. Like, so there's this naivete in among some feminists, and it's like the Stockholm syndrome, where these feminists are like, all women are feminists, all women are good, and it's really men that are the problem, and especially white heterosexual Christian men. Like that's this weird mentality. But in reality, as a fact, if we go into a black female community or a white female community, let's say in a prison, or let's say in a college, let's say in a corporate executive situation, okay? So when we're in a corporate, Fortune 500, Fortune 100, are the black women executives always going to be nice to other black up and coming admins? Let's say this black executive who's a female, maybe she's a lesbian, and there's another one who's just starting out, and they're the same demographic, but they don't get along. They just don't have a personality. Maybe they're different, whatever. So there's this naivete in the progressive left, liberal, Marxist brainwashing that no LBG person has ever done anything wrong. No biological woman has ever done anything wrong, unless she's rejected this trans agenda, unless she's rejected this appropriation of womanhood. So I think feminists are now being misogynistic. Some these feminists who are gaslighting biological women who don't want to be naked in a gym, in a sauna, in a whatever, in athletics with a male that's wearing women's clothing. And do these men pee standing up? Do these men have good driving skills? Do they have good spatial skills? I bet they do. And I bet they are wearing a uniform. Like people, you work at Wendy's, you work at the hotel, you work at whatever. You're a pilot. You wear a uniform. And I believe that there's this infiltration of misogynists, because these biological males that are claiming to be women are being extremely misogynistic. They are violating women's bathrooms, women's gyms, women's athletics. They're probably going to be taking women's scholarships and affirmative action and whatnot. And I have been seeing comments where these misogynistic patriarchy, women hating men, okay, like the epitome of what feminists hate is these vitriolic men who hate empowered, uppity, outspoken women. So these men are like, well, you're getting what you deserved, um, because feminism has led the way, and it's amazing. It's amazing how patriarchy emerges when feminists take over. Number one, the women themselves become patriarchal. I would say women are just as patriarchal, just as creepy and crappy as men can be, because when anybody gets power, power corrupts. I haven't worked for a gay male manager, but maybe, yeah, the thing is, no human is perfect. Like, there's this naivete, this willful ignorance that people have, that, if I'm going to be in the, black trans community, or I'm in the lesbian activist community, that everybody's going to be nice there. Never. No, that's not going to happen. Not everybody's going to be nice. If you're in the permaculture community or the vegan community, not everybody's going to be nice. A lot of people are going to have bad behavior. Why? Because humans have bad behavior, because humans are human. And you need a framework, you need a vision, you need morality. You actually need a moral backbone in order for anything to work. You can't just have resources and lure people to be your slave, which is what I have worked in alternative communities, organic farm, garden communities, and that does not work. These places become dead when there is no spiritual vision. And the ones that I see, were like, this was before I was a Christian, but they did have a strong spiritual vision. They did have a strong spiritual foundation. They were lost. They were worshiping Hindu gods or Buddhism or, techniques. But with that strong vision, uh, they were flourishing. They were expanding. Um, but when you're just like some greedy pervert with resources, that's not going to last. That's not going to expand. It's not going to flourish. It's not going to thrive. And that's what we have now. Like perverts are in charge, and perverts are getting people to be like, yeah, let's have naked adults around teenagers and see what happens. And I'm sure like these exhibitionists who are doing that, are hoping to get some imbalanced teenager to give them a thrill. And it's disgusting, because parents who are too trusting or in denial of something in themselves are going to be like, oh yeah, let's have my teenager at a pre-sex, you know, event in a TV studio. Somebody just sent me something, and they were trying to say that this was good. Anyway, back to my point: uniforms. So I think that there's this misogynistic part of the LGBT agenda. I'm really surprised, but in a way, I'm not surprised, because the LGBT agenda really, it seemed to be more for men. And I don't know if I don't know if that's some kind of biblical thing, because the man in the Bible is the authority, and you just can't escape it. And we are seeing this now with patriarchal men that are cross dressing. So these patriarchal men who hate women, who want to rape women, who want to rape their minds, who want to rape their souls, who want to ravage them and little girls. Okay. So these biological men are wearing a uniform, they're cross dressing so they can claim to be the victim. And if anybody is that demographic, I'm sure that's what they would say. So they are wearing the uniform. I'm a victim because I'm claiming to be a biological woman, and then I will be patriarchal. I will oppress women from being a woman, from being what I'm identifying as a woman. That I'm a 250-pound guy with the beard and intact, and I just found big enough clothes that are, and I've grown my hair, and I get to be patriarchal. I get to be the epitome of patriarchal and sexist. And these women have no rights, and these women have no say. And even more, These women are going to be gaslit. They are going to be suspect. They are now the offender. I mean, and it's so sick. It's so sick, but our world has become so politically correct, so um like like morally bankrupt. People who are in charge can't even, they don't even know what's right anymore. Like if they have children, and I'm sure they do, if they have loved ones, and I'm sure they do, if those people were raped, you know, or if they themselves, if these trusted, you know, like family members, these progressive left liberal Marxists, if they were violated, would they be like, well, I guess it was my fault? If their children or their elderly parents were violated, would they be like, oh, I guess it was their fault? They're white, so they should be raped, and murdered and tortured and kicked in the teeth and insulted and humiliated? I mean, that's what, that's the sense I get. Like, there's, and these people, these progressive liberal Marxists, are well educated people. These people have a good mind. They know things. They know things better than I do. They're able to communicate better than I do. They're able to think better than I do and study and achieve. And they've just like abandoned humanity. They've abandoned civilization. They've abandoned, you know, like the people who are depending on them. So, so I do think that there's this new type of misogyny, this new type of patriarchy, neo-misogyny, neo-patriarchy, and that these biological men who are intact and they're just cross-dressing, they are the worst of the misogynists that feminists hated, and when they were trying to get their right to vote in the 20s, and when they were trying to get equal rights in the workplace in the 60s and 70s. Like, there were bad people, there were bad men in the past, and you know what, there were bad women too. I mean, that's the strange thing. Not only were there bad white people, there were bad black people, there were bad Chinese, there were bad Hispanic. Like, every race, every demographic, there were bad old people, there were bad disabled people, there were bad, like, and there's good in every demographic. But what people have been so quick to do, so it must be white Christians that are all bad. Now, if there's a statistically significant demographic that does harm, like who's the top killer of Americans? Uh, I won't say it because that's definitely, that industry really pays a lot of attention to my channels and lets me know. But look up who the top, what industry causes the most death, what profession causes the most deaths. And there's probably not a current statistic since 2020 because they were very busy, more busy than usual. But in 2019, the word is iatrogenic, iatrogenic. And it's interesting, iatrogenic. Would it have something to do with genocide? This industry type of genocide? I don't know. I it seems like it. So when um, there's statistics that are significant about danger, harm, blah blah blah, then I think we can make a generalization about a population. And but I don't think this industry, for instance, would be murderers, executionists, uh, if they weren't given the power. And that's the thing. Whenever any group of people are given power, they're either blackmailed, brainwashed, or bribed into doing these harms. So this could be, instead of this industry that I'm alluding to, because I don't want to get a warning or whatever. Instead of that industry, if we talked about, I don't know, the computer industry, if the computer industry, and it is kind of becoming the next level, like with this surveillance and nanotechnology, and self-assembling nanotech, and um, like all this weird stuff that's going on in trying to make humans a, a cyborg or something like that, and trying to make humans an antenna for 5G or 6G. So they are going to be in charge. Like soon, medicine is going to be irrelevant or whatever, because people won't even be going into hospitals. Hospitals are going to become obsolete, because everybody's going to be in a cell and hooked up to the internet and feeding the internet, being an electrical power source, totally like the Matrix. It's funny because the Matrix was supposed to be waking people up, and instead, I think the Matrix put people to sleep. So, um, it's, if you just give people power, they are going to abuse it unless they have a strong connection to God, unless they are asking God to guide them in everything. So, some people are offended, when this industry is participating in ending people's lives, or this demographic is wearing a uniform and claiming they are victims of the very people they are victimizing, of the very people they are preying upon. These people who are cross dressing are predators and perpetrators, but they are saying that the victim is harming them. Like what genuine male to female transsexuals need to do is say what I'm saying. They need to be like, those male to females do not get to invade women's sports, women's bathrooms, women's gyms, girls' bathrooms, women's prisons. Like, where are you guys? Where is the activist community that has integrity? Where are you? Why are just crazy maniacs out there? Like, you guys had a strong voice in the 90s. Like, and the silence means you guys are liars and thieves and murderers, because this is not healthy for biological girls and women to have to fear going into a bathroom, and is a man going to be there? Is a man going to be in the gym watching me undress? Like even other women do not like having other women watching them undress, and like some guy thinks that he's going to go into a women's bathroom. Any pervert can now say, I'm going to cross dress and I'm a woman and I get to watch little girls and women in the gym, in the bathroom. Like, there's psychologically unwell women who are in the bathroom or gym or whatever. Like, we don't need men in there as well. So, I don't see this changing anytime, because people are so absolutely insane and deluded. And I'm like in 10 years ago, 20 years ago, there would be people who would not put up with this crap. They would just say something and it would be listened to. Where are those people? Like, I'm not that person. Nobody listens to me. Only the AI bot, only the YouTube, the big brother at YouTube, regularly watch my content and let me know I've done, said another wrong thing, and so I get a warning or a strike or whatever. But like, there are other people who have influence. Where are they? Like, even like conventional, you know, conservative people, like, they were hired as CEOs. I mean, they're in charge of, you know, like, if you look at Vanguard, I think it's Vanguard or BlackRock, they're pushing this agenda. They're telling all of the companies that they have shares in, okay, you gotta be into the CRT and push the LBGT thing. So these big companies, these but these guys are totally like conservative male, white looking guys. Like that's what's so weird is they're like, yeah, we're the rest of you are gonna destroy family roles, gender roles. Okay, let's ruin that for you, and if do bigotry and pit everybody against each other. But these very guys, I mean, just look at who's in Congress and stuff like that. Like these people though, they're still the look like the old guard. That's what's so weird is like I think everybody who was who does have influence, they've left the cities long ago. And they're holding up in their suburbs. They've got their little homes somewhere. They're doing their own little business. They've said to hell with society, so they're creating their own little society. And I guess there's just not a lot of good people with influence to spare. And people complain, even influencers like Becky Hall, Anomaly, Mike Adams, Mike Rowe. They've all complained how people don't want to work. Americans don't want to work. There's not enough people working the donut shop and the coffee shop and the grocery store and the gas station. Lazy Americans. That's the implication. But why are so many people starting their own business? There's been an 85% increase in people starting their own business since 2019. Why is that? Like, because none of these people are saying, oh, it makes sense. These people had to deprive themselves of oxygen while commuting, being at work. They had to have the threat of weird needle magic. They had to deal with all this crazy stress of, this magic ritual, the magic circles and whatnot. Like, there's no compassion, no understanding. Nobody, like, it was it's on one hand, they'll talk about this what happened, the lock, the what caused the lockdowns. They'll refer to it, but they'll be like, oh, but that doesn't affect entry level workers at all. Entry level workers, I mean, it doesn't matter that they had to suffocate themselves for 2 years or still are suffocating themselves. It doesn't matter that these entry level workers had to pay crazy rents to live in a slum where it's always noisy and there's things breaking down and landlords don't care and there's crazy neighbors and loud dogs and loud fans and bad smells and weird toxins and bed bugs and whatever. Nobody, Anomaly, Peggy Hall, Mike Adams, they're not thinking of that. They're so sheltered. They're so insulated. Even though I know they work hard, it is so clear they work hard. But you know what? Entry level workers who have to commute an hour in a crummy bus on a crummy road to a crummy job where there's no there's just the barest minimum of like safe, and there's no safe working conditions. It's just like you can survive. You could barely survive because that's how jobs are. Jobs are like, okay, we won't have dead bodies, right? Because I can't deal with the nuisance of a dead body, right? And so that's what crappy jobs are. They're just like, you won't quite die today, but crappy jobs are like deadly. I mean, there's just all this noise and poisons and no air, and you're being cooked by electromagnetics and blue light and just loud music or loud machines, and like it's so insufferable. And nobody cares about the entry level worker. You're just supposed to be a little cog of the machine and make your pittance, make your $300, $400 a week, and pay whatever 150 to FICA and whatever to taxes, and you're supposed to be happy. And people are complaining about this. Anyway, um, it's a crazy situation, and there's just not enough people who know how to um, hold to common sense, and you know and but the thing is, the powers that be, they get to have common sense. Like, that's what I'm realizing is because I'm sure when the powers that be, like, oh, there was that big conference about global warming or climate change, but it was like 400 different, like, Trudeau and Biden and everybody. They were like, yeah, we have to fight climate change, but they all took their private jets. So, why do these people want private jets? Why do these people want uninjected pilots? Why? Because they want predictability. When you have it when you have a crew that's been injected, that's that you don't know what is going to happen, because flying and altitude and air pressure is that's a significant health uh, factor. So these globalists, they want common sense. They want a predictable life. I'm sure when they're in their home and their maid is cleaning, and when their human trafficking cabal guy is setting them up with their satanic ritual abuse folks, you're on a schedule. Like, they're not like, oh, I guess we can't do it tonight, like, to have my encounter with Satan. No, these people follow through. They have a schedule. They have common sense. There's no weird, like, shenanigans about, like, not following through. But like, in our, when you're not in this elite, privileged, insulated context, like everything, uh, when you are the entry level worker, like, nothing has to be reliable for you. Like, when you're the entry level worker, it's just all your fault and all your responsibility, and uh, the powers that be owe you nothing. So, and it's just, I guess maybe there's no protection for, let's say, like, girls and women in this situation where men are cross dressing. They hate women and they're violating women by their mere presence. Um, and it doesn't matter to the city, because the city, or the gym or whatever, is getting funding from some other source. Like, and that's what it seems like. What matters is who's paying it. What, are you getting a large donation from Soros or whatever, Vanguard and blah blah? And so those groups are like, oh, well, yeah, we're like, if everybody just admitted, we are here to destroy gender roles, the family, um, women, children. Like, if they just said, we're here to kill you and destroy you and humiliate you, like, that would actually just be nice. Let's just get it out in the open, but instead what they're saying is, we're trying to help you and you're hurting us. And what's worse is that our, friends and family and colleagues are like, yeah, what's wrong with you? Why don't you like it when a man is naked watching you in the gym or in the bathroom, or, you know, whatever? I mean, like, a stranger. Like, it's just so weird. Like I just hope Jesus returns soon, because this is it's challenging, and I don't know how many people are gonna be able to navigate it. So, anyways, what do you guys think? Thank you for watching. God bless.